Say good morning to Rich Eisen from the NFL Network and the host of the Rich Eisen Show on Audience Network on DirecTV. Hi, Rich.
DP, when you went back on ESPN, did they play a tribute video for you?
Yes,
when you went back there?
I think they did. I think Van Pelt had one that he actually edited when I went on his show. And I said,
really?
I said, Scott, I can't do it. It's just not fair. And then so he said, okay, let's don't do the deal.
Well, your family wasn't there.
No, they weren't.
Right?
No, they weren't.
You just weren't feeling 100%.
I was injured.
Yeah.
I was injured. My ego was injured when I went back to the mothership that night.
I hear you.
I
hear you.
So where do you want to start?
I don't know. You tell me. Where do you want to start? Where do you want to start?
Okay.
There's lots going on.
Okay. Give me the surprise this weekend.
I think the surprise this weekend is we get the second consecutive season where all wild card home teams win for the first time in the history of the current playoff format. I think, how about that? How's that for next level?
Okay.
That's never happened before. It happened last year, which means it stands to reason that at some point this year we're going to get some form of surprise. But I don't think the Titans have the horses to do it in Kansas City, and I don't think the Falcons win in Los Angeles. I love the guys on the Falcons and the front office folks, and what happened to them last year at the Super Bowl. It's remarkable that they made it to the playoffs this year. It really is. But I think the Rams are a far better offensive, efficient team with a defense that can keep Atlanta offensively inefficient, and I think the Rams win that game. And I'm really excited. I'm assuming we're going to see at least 90,000 people in that stadium on a Saturday night with a kickoff at 5:00. People aren't going to have to deal with traffic to get there. There's not really much else going on. Everybody's back from break. Saturday night we should see a nice amount of people in that stadium. And then, obviously Sunday's games, maybe the Bills can pull that off. I'm concerned about LaShawn McCoy not being healthy. Yeah. And then in the afternoon game, I don't see a surprise there as well. So I think that's what we're going to get in the wild card.
Do you look at mock drafts?
No, honestly.
How do you not?
Because it's too early. You hit on it just, while I was, on hold listening to you guys bandy about the draft stuff. By the time the draft, right now, there's a ton of quarterback-needy teams, but somebody is going to fill the void with Kirk Cousins. Somebody's going to fill the void with Alex Smith. Somebody might, as McLevin said, mention the arbitration case, which I guess is technically litigation. That A.J. McCarron might be free. We have no idea, none, who might take themselves off the board at the top of the draft. And so right now, I think I saw a few friends of mine complaining about these sorts of things, and I'm like, don't look at it. It's way too early for that sort of stuff.
I think you may sneak late at night. You may just like a closet, like nobody's watching, and you're clicking on a mock draft.
Damn it, you caught me. All right, I saw 5 of them yesterday, Dan.
Your wife told me. She checked your search list there.
She's always like, Rich, will you go to sleep and get off the insider that you've got going on, It's honest. It's way, way too soon. It really, really is. And nobody's telling the truth right now. Nobody.
Yeah.
And so, personally, to answer your poll question, having heard it, there's no doubt in my mind 3 are going to go. I really believe it. I think this is what I think Cleveland should do. Cleveland should take whoever they like at the top. It's probably going to be Darnold from what everybody's talking about right now. And then with their gajillion picks that were bequeathed to them by the Moneyball administration that's now gone, they should call up Dave Gettleman and the Giants and make them an offer they cannot refuse, and throw a ton of picks at them and say, you now draft 4th, and go and take Barkley and rip the knob off of Thursday night. Quarterback Barkley, end of story. and put them with Josh Gordon and Duke Johnson and David Njoku. Joe Thomas comes back healthy, and saddle up and see how that goes. I just don't know if the Giants would do that because they're not going to pick number 2 overall anytime soon. At least that's the way they view things, and you have to think they wouldn't based on how everything else is set up there when everyone is healthy. So maybe, but that's why I think they're going to take a quarterback also. And, man, I think Jay-Z is on his hands and knees hoping that Barkley goes there. That would be great. But I believe Josh Rosen's going to be the choice of quarterback for the Giants. And then there's the Browns sitting there at 4, and they can trade out. I mean, they can absolutely trade out with somebody who's really nervous that the Jets or the Broncos are going to take whoever's still sitting there. And you'll see 3 quarterbacks go in the first 4 picks.
Talking to Rich Eisen from the NFL Network. A couple other items here. I'm curious your take on how long do you think Jim Harbaugh stays at Michigan?
Oh, boy. That's a third rail topic. You went there with me.
Yeah, I know.
I think he's staying for a while. I really do. You know, from the fact that he's a guy on that campus that despite the disappointing results, there's no other way to put it, certainly this year, nobody saw a 5-loss season coming, that he still has the ability to get the kids who he wants and be the guy on campus that he wants to be and live next door to his parents. And his kids grow up the same way that he grew up. And I think you can't discount that. You cannot discount that. And I think he has an intense will to win at this school, and it hasn't worked out yet. And I don't think he's going anywhere. I really don't.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't see him going anywhere, but then he's not going anywhere at Michigan either.
Well, not yet. I mean, he hasn't got a quarterback yet.
Yeah, but he's a quarterback. He should get a quarterback. I mean, come on.
You're not wrong. And everybody's hoping in maize and blue country that Shea Patterson, this kid that they got from Ole Miss, is going to get his waiver and get on the field this year and be the guy that Harbaugh needs. And like I said, trust me, I hear it from all of my Michigan friends and compadres. Certainly when Michigan loses to Ohio State, when the backup quarterback who hardly played a lick all year comes in and starts winging it all over the building in a manner that none of the backup quarterbacks from Michigan looked like this year. And everyone's like, why don't we have one of those sitting around? And so all that said, the defense has been spectacular. And if the offense hadn't 3 and out at them on the field so darn much, they'd have a much better record this year. But I believe in Harbaugh. I really, really do.
All right, I got one more thing.
We'll see.
Time-wise, I want to get this in.
Okay.
Yeah. Is Jon?
Did I just 6-minute drill you on the 2-minute drill right there? Did I just do that?
Yeah,
okay.
You just Bermaned that segment. Is Jon Gruden overrated or underrated? As a coach.
Well, I think he is overrated for how much money he's going to get. He's getting the money because of the fact that he was the coach when Woodson was there and they got Tuck ruled out. And he won 1 Super Bowl in Tampa and didn't make the playoffs any other years. But you have to think that this guy has the passion, has the knowledge of your organization, and also, I mean, and you've spoken to him, and I've spoken to him, and he has been sitting in his Fired Football Coaches Association bunker in Tampa and has watched a ridiculous amount of film and knows every possible concept that's been tried at every level of football for the last 5+ years. I think he is knowledgeable and ready to be a 21st century coach. If you're looking for the next Sean McVay sounds like Jon Gruden because he comes from the Gruden tree. So why not get the actual tree himself and overpay for him? And one question I have for you is, do you think he's calling that game in 2 days?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah, he's got the wild card game.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
I'm still.
Wait, you think they put in somebody to do that game instead of Gruden on Saturday?
Look, I know him and Reed are tight, but I mean, the Chiefs. You don't think the Chiefs are going to have an issue with the next coach of the Raiders?
You know what I would do,
in their house?
Rich? I would put Frank Caliendo in.
But as both of them, as McDonough also.
He could do that.
Have him do both.
I would have Frank Caliendo beat Jon Gruden.
You should ask Cord Hosenbeck if he's available.
Well, he might be. Cord, I think, is looking for the Monday night gig, and he'll join us coming up in 10 minutes. All right. Hey, thanks. Have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you soon.
Bud.
Hi, bud.
Okay, man.
That's Rich Eisen, NFL Network host and host of the Rich Eisen Show on DirecTV Audience Network that follows this program coming up top of the hour.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.